What is the state of the franchise for the Chicago Cubs? I have my thoughts and theories. Let's get into it. What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast, and as I said in the open, today we continue our series breaking down the state of the franchise, this time for the Chicago Cubs. Now, Chicago has made a lot of moves this offseason. Several moves that I think could have them pushing towards the top of the National League Central Division. And I think that there's going to be an opportunity that if all goes well with the Cubbies, they will find themselves trying to compete for a postseason spot. With the expanded postseason, I think there's an opportunity that the Cubs could try to make a run. Now, when we look at some of those acquisitions, Marcus Stroman, Michael Gibbons, Drew Smyly, Daniel Norris, and David Robertson round out the pitching acquisitions that the Cubs have made. That's a lot of firepower and name notoriety to bring onto this team. You add that in with guys like Kyle Hendricks that are already on this roster, and you now have the makings of a potential sneaky rotation in the National League Central Division. Then when you look at the position player acquisitions that were made, Yan Gomes, Andrelton Simmons, Jonathan Villar, Clint Frazier, and most notably the Japanese import, Seiya Suzuki. When you look at what these players can absolutely add to the value of the Chicago Cubs. Yes, the Cubs no longer have any members of that 2016 quartet that Cubs fans grew to love. Anthony Rizzo is now a member of the Yankees, Chris Bryant a member of the Rockies, Javi Baez of the Tigers, and Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies. But when you look at what this Cubs roster now has, there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of versatility, and players that are going to be able to give David Ross a lot of opportunities to mix and match and get the best out of each and every one of these players. Then you add in the veteran leadership of a player like Jason Hayward, and you can really see where this team is going to start to shine. Now let's break down the state of the pitching for the Chicago Cubs. All of those names that I just mentioned are really going to add serious value to the Cubs pitching staff. I think when you look at what this team is going to be, Marcus Stroman and Kyle Hendricks are going to be a very interesting 1-2 punch. I think that there's an opportunity for these guys to really be able to put their best foot forward and run the Cubs through towards the postseason hunt. Then you add in guys like Drew Smyly, Daniel Norris, Wade Miley, and Alec Mills, and now you have a serious level of depth in your starting rotation. Then when you go to the bullpen side of things, you have proven guys like David Robertson, who could easily have a bounce back campaign for the Cubs in 2022. A guy like Michael Gibbons, who to me is a very underrated reliever in Major League Baseball. And you have the makings of a pitching staff that can try to go toe-to-toe with the other teams in this division to push towards that number one seed. Now, as we look at the state of the offense for the Chicago Cubs, to me, this is where it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be quite a bit of platooning done to see the best versions of all of these players. All of the players that I named are going to be guys that have value in one way or another. Now, not all of them are going to be offensive forces. A guy like Andrelton Simmons is going to bring you an extreme level of value, but it's going to come with his glove. Now, yes, if he can start to bring the bat around to match even somewhat of what he provides with the glove, this is going to be an absolutely underrated addition for the Chicago Cubs. As we look at the state of the franchise as a whole, I think there's an opportunity for the Cubs to kind of sneak up on some people. They're going to be looked at as probably the third best team in this division. That was what my predicted rankings were for them going into this offseason. But I think when you look at what they have on this roster, they're going to have an opportunity to really find themselves in a battle for that first, second, or even possibly falling to the third seed in this National League Central Division. However, if things break right for the Chicago Cubs, they're easily can find themselves pushing towards the number one seat in this division. Overall, I do think that the Cubs are probably going to find themselves right around or just above 500 for the 2022 campaign. I think that even though there's a lot of players to be excited about and a lot of opportunity for mixing and matching in some platoon situations that could really help the Cubs maximize the talent of the players they have on the roster, I don't know that they're going to have enough to compete with the two teams above them. But I will give you a bold prediction that I've already stated if you've been paying attention to the Baseball Banter broadcast. I believe that Seiya Suzuki will win the National League Rookie of the Year award. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your feelings on the Chicago Cubs down in the comment section below. Where do you think that they will end up in terms of the rankings for the National League Central Division? Do you think that they could make a run towards the postseason? Or are all of these players just playing to get traded at the deadline? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at JLaracuente19, and we can keep the conversation rolling. As always, keep it locked into the entire family with We Sibs, the Grand and Geek Show, and of course here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast. For sticking around all the way to the end here, head over to baseballbanterbroadcast.com. Use the promo code BANTER to save 5% off your order on our merchandise shop. Keep it locked in all season long as I continue to bring you the breakdown of the state of each and every single franchise across Major League Baseball, as well as the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on the game of Major League Baseball. Peace.